Hello, I am Alison Duana, Blue Spectral Eagle, and welcome to this reading for the new moon, 28th of January 2017. And at Hebden Bridge in the United Kingdom, where I live, it takes place at 6 minutes 57 seconds after midnight on the 28th of January. So the new moon is a seed phase for the cycle. So we are going to look in this reading at what the markers are for the seed change. And then the flowering in this cycle will be the full moon, which is actually a lunar eclipse this month. So it's a very powerful month. So the new moon aligns at 8 degrees of Aquarius. And the Sabian symbol for this point is beautifully gowned wax figures on display. And the meaning is the inspiration one may derive from the appearance of exemplars who present to us the archetypes of a new culture. So this Sabian symbol is perfect really for a presentation of the goddess asteroids, who really are exemplars of the new culture that is emerging, the new equality of men and women that is coming about through the transformations of the goddess asteroids, their archetypes. And at the time of the new moon, the ascendant of the chart is 25 degrees of Libra, and Jupiter, the planet of abundance, is at 23 degrees of Libra. And this aligns in the heavens to a really beautiful star called Spica. And she is the goddess who holds the wheat sheath. So she represents beauty and harmony. And this is really one of the core elements of what the goddess asteroids bring are peace, equality, and harmony. They are the bringers of the new golden age that is arriving in this beginning of the time of Aquarius. So we will look first at what I am referring to as the golden weavers. And in my inner vision, I see them as three high priestesses, three goddesses, and they're carrying the Holy Grail, the chalice, which is has a glowing light coming from it. And these three goddess asteroids are Hygeia, and Hygeia is her symbol is the two serpents, the yin and the yang serpent that we find in the Caduceus. And Hygeia is a goddess of healing through dreams and sleep. And she is a walker between the world of the conscious and the unconscious, and of waking and sleep. So she's a very interesting goddess. She's all about attunement to natural cycles. And the next goddess is Astraea, and Astraea is very much connected actually with this energy of the star Spica, and her energy is about sacred arts, expressing ourselves through these highest octaves of music and poetry and beauty and harmony that as human beings we are able to create. And she is a bringer of the new golden age. It is said that she left at the end of the last golden age when the density of the energies on Earth was too much for her energy to be here. And so now she is a returning energy within the ways of being of humanity. So anyone out there really working with the energy of the sacred arts, you are embodying the goddess Estrella. And then the final goddess is Juno, and she's actually aligned at the new moon today, 28 degrees Sagittarius. And the galactic center, or the Hunab Ku, as the Mayans called it, is the place where the evolutionary impulse, the evolutionary song comes forth from the galactic center. And I see it as the yoni of the Dark Mother that is birthing the entire galaxy. And Juno is the goddess of the sacred marriage. So she's about the equality of men and women, if we're looking in how that relates to our lives. But she's also a midwife of the birthing of spirit into matter. And we're living at a time now in 2017, we've been doing a lot of healing, a lot of clearing of ancestral pathways. In order to birth our bodies birth our spirit very deeply into our bodies. So never mind ascension, I'm more in a way interested in the descension of the spirit into the body, because it's through our RNA message pathways that then our DNA awakens to new levels, and so we actually get this incredibly deep level of transformation as human beings, where all of the traumas of the past can actually fall away in a moment once these new RNA messages of light are really reaching deep into the body. And also at the galactic center, and this is for most of this year, so I'll be talking about this probably every new moon, is Saturn. Is also transiting the galactic center this year. And Saturn is known as a tricky planet, but Saturn is also the dark mother. Saturn is what enables us to give form to the idea. So I see in Saturn transiting the galactic center, the dark mother's yoni, that this is an amazing time for new projects, new ways of being to be birthed, and that Saturn as the dark mother is there to give form to these new ideas, these new forms. I'm seeing them in my mind as dandelion seeds flowing out on the winds of change and taking seed wherever they land. Okay, so let's move on to look at what else is happening at this new moon. There's a Pluto Mercury conjunction in Capricorn in the third house of communication. So we may be getting issues coming up around communication, power dynamics in communication. And perhaps we will be witnessing this as well on the world stage with the inauguration of Trump. This is his first new moon in office. And Pluto in Capricorn is very much about the uncovering and unlocking of corruption within the establishment. So it'd be very interesting to see what emerges on the world stage in the sphere of communication in this new moon. And then we have also a really amazing lineup of planets on the South Node. There's a great cosmic serpent, a great cosmic dragon that crosses the heavens. And so the South Node is known as the tail of the serpent. And whenever we look at the South Node, we're looking at healing, what happened in our childhood, but also in our past lives. And we also look at what gifts we bring through from past lives, both our bloodline and our spiritual ancestral line, for that we need in this lifetime. So for much of the year, and on this new moon, Pallas Athena, the warrior goddess, is conjunct the South Node. And then we have a whole stellium of planets. We have Neptune, we have Chiron, who isn't a planet, but is the wounded healer archetype, very important in 2017, the awakening of the wounded healer archetype. And then we have a Venus and Mars conjunction. Some of you will have, if you have been looking up in the night sky, you can actually see Venus is incredibly bright over Britain at the moment. And then a little bit further up to the left, you see a smaller red planet, which is Mars. And whenever you get Venus-Mars conjunction, this is always about the merging, the healing of the yin and the yang, the active in Mars and the receptive energies in Venus. And again, much like Juno, Venus-Mars conjunction represents the alchemical sacred marriage within the self and also reflected outwardly. So we have a lot of ancestral healing going on here between men and women, between this very powerful and damaging dynamic of the patriarchy that has, really wrenched what potentially can be amazing, beautiful relationships between men and women. We've had a few thousand years of the patriarchy that we need to get over, to recover from, and so in this moon cycle this energy will be very present, and I feel will build on a lot of the women's marches that happened around Trump's inauguration. And Trump is really bringing the unresolved women's issues to the surface. And I think it's always interesting to look at the bigger picture of why things happen, because if Hillary Clinton was now president of the United States, probably everyone would be going, well, this is it for women, we've reached the pinnacle now. But actually that isn't the reality of how things are. And so actually Trump being there almost is like a boil bursting, coming to the surface, showing the poison of the thoughts, the poison of misogynistic words, the damage that does to young women and has done to generations of women who have been treated dishonorably and disrespectfully. And so now we rise as women and men who are friends on this journey of liberation, because we want the future for our sons and our daughters to be a different one. We don't want to keep perpetuating these karmic patterns, and so we are presented with opportunities to heal those. Now, Ceres is still travelling with Uranus in Aries, and so Ceres is the mother goddess archetype. She's been travelling with Uranus for a while. Many astrologers have talked about how the shock of Brexit was related to Ceres being conjunct Uranus at the time, and perhaps the shock of Trump as well. So there's lots of shocking things that are happening on the world scale. And the Navajo pipeline, the power of globally people coming together to say, this isn't right, what's happening here. The Navajo are entitled to their sacred lands. These are the indigenous people, of the holders of the teachings of the mother goddess, our earth planet. And we should be honouring and respecting and looking up to them. And this is, a growing movement. And so sometimes we need polarization to help us to really see where we stand in relation to things. If we've been on a spiritual path, we've probably been trying not to polarize. But actually it feels, in the last year that really we have to decide which side we're on. Are we on the side of equality and justice, or are we on the side of the opposite of that? And so it feels like we need to make a choice. We need to decide what it is that we believe in. And almost through making that strong decision, this is what I believe in, we awaken our seed nature. It's like the seed starts to glow and grow. And this is what we want. We are stepping out of prisons of the mind, and it's an uncomfortable time. It's a challenging time because we are all out of our comfort zone. But we are also all globally now coming together. And so we're doing what we need to do for the life we came here to work together globally to bring about social and political transformation. This is ultimately what it's all about. We also have personal transformation, but it's completely linked to the social and the political sphere. The two cannot be separated. So I'm going to finish by saying that Vesta is this month in the sign of Cancer, the watery lunar sign. So it's a great time for nurturing, for being inward with your inner priest, priestess, medicine woman, medicine man. If you're working with crystals, herbs, plants, these are all the healing tools of the mother goddess, and then you connected in to this. And as I say, on the 11th of February, there's an pulse lunar eclipse that takes place across the Aquarius-Leo axis. And all the eclipses this year take place, I think all of them anyway, across this axis. I know most of them do. And so this axis is about how we relate as an individual to the collective, and it's this dance. And in between individual and collective lies the field of relationships. So it's all about this dance. What is our comfort zone, and when do we feel really outside of our comfort zone. And that's different for all of us. Some of us don't like being alone. Some of us don't like being in groups. Some of us don't like being in relationships or intimate one-to-one connections with others. So we need to just notice, where do we feel uncomfortable, and how can we practice being comfortable in all these different ways of being, so that we learn how to be whole human beings, really. Okay, so I'm just going to finish with the lunar eclipse. Well, this is where the sun is with the lunar eclipse, is at 22 degrees Aquarius. And the Sabian symbol for that is a rug is placed on the floor of a nursery to allow children to play in comfort. And so the meaning of the Sabian symbol is the warmth of understanding which comes to those who early in life are open to new possibilities. And so this speaks to me of the healing that I've talked about, of the ancestral karma of men and women, the wounded healer, the warrior woman, Pallas Athena. And in a lunar eclipse, there's always the possibility of what is hidden within our subconscious becoming revealed. So mark this date in your diary, 11th of February, and just see what happens on that day and be with that in open and loving curiosity, which is a great healing force, open and loving curiosity. So namaste, go in peace. And please follow my my YouTube channel, because I will be posting here every new moon, verbally rather than written, as I feel that people prefer to listen these days rather than read. So it's exciting new ground for me. So, lots of love. Namaste from Alison Duana, Blue Spectral Eagle.